Hey, Tall, can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Awesome.
So do you want me to come up after this meeting and sign minutes?
It's all needs to happen online because we're trying to have everything on the internet accessible. So what you've been doing with the ones that I've emailed you has been great. I can look through what you've signed already and see if there's anything outstanding, and I'll let you know. Yeah. All right, Gordon, whenever you are ready, um, you're welcome to call the meeting to order and just go down the agenda.
I'm calling the meeting to order. Um, I guess we need to see if we have a quorum here.
Yep, we got Sunny and Tall online.
Hey, this is Kay. Can you start the recording, please? I know it's to you too, but the other recording.
We do have a quorum. We've got everybody here today. In fact, just two are online.
So I guess the next item is approval of minutes for the September 18th meeting. Is there a motion?
Do you guys want to sit a little bit closer together so you can hear each other?
No, I don't understand you mumbling.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're considering approving the minutes from the last meeting on September 18th.
I would move we do that.
I will second.
Aye.
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 Okay, that is 4 ayes.
Okay, the minutes have been approved. Next is continuation of this variance application from last month.
Great, thank you, Gordon.
Is the applicant here?
So we do have, I believe, Herb McCarg, so. Or maybe we lost him. We'll see. So there has been some updates since we last met. This property was sold about a week ago. So we have received an authorization of agency from the new owners for both Clay Arendis and his attorney. Clay, if you'll recall, is who originally applied for the variance. And then Herb is the attorney of the new owner of the property.
Has there been a closing yet? on this?
Yep, yes,
Okay.
I believe so. So the same ask, but just new property owners, and hopefully we'll get a chance to hear from the new applicant. But I'll just quickly review what we discussed last meeting, that this is a variance application to reduce the rear yard setback at 30 Stella Drive. Do my computer always loves to be funky with the PowerPoints. I'll continue that the other piece of the puzzle that we wanted to figure out last meeting, the reason for our continuation was regarding whether or not that BLM property adjoining, abutting the land was for sale or not, and it is confirmed not for sale. So our new applicant is the Stella Bear LLC, also known as Spencer Stewart. And his representatives are Clay, who originally applied for the application, and then Herb McCarg. The parcel is about 14 acres. It's in the Forestry Agriculture Zone District. This is a hearing, a one-step Board of Adjustment review. And the variance, the proposal is to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 5 feet to allow for the construction of a garage and a screen and porch.
Why isn't the applicant here?
They are being represented by their attorney via Zoom, who is Herb McCarg. And Herb will circle back around and give you a chance to speak after this presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So can you just hold your comments for the end, and that would be awesome.
Okay.
So here's the vicinity map with the parcel, as you all know. Here's a proposed setback to be adjusted, and then that BLM land behind it. Here's a site plan that you all should be familiar with, showing that garage up at the top and then the screen and porch at the bottom. And just a little zoomed in. This was publicly noticed prior to our last meeting, and then due to the continuation at the last meeting, did not need to be noticed again, but anybody who was curious could have tuned into our last meeting and know that it was continued to this date. And we did receive those comments from Sam and Samantha Samuelson last round that was just stating some concerns about parking and staging adjacent to Geyser Drive. Once again, that referral comment from Matt Gonzalez that stated that any structure or portion thereof that is 5 feet or less from the property line shall be constructed in accordance with section R302.1 of the building code. Here are the review standards for the variance. The review standard that would apply to this application would be that by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of a specific piece of property at the time of the enactment of any regulation, or by reason of exceptional topographic conditions or other extraordinary and exceptional situation or condition of such a piece of property, the strict application of any regulation would result in peculiar and exceptional practical difficulties to or undue hardship upon the owner of such a property, where relief in the form of a variance from zoning may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and substantial impairment of the intent and purpose of the zoning. And then I did include a couple new sample motions for you all. This was the original sample motion from last week, which would be that 5-foot setback for both the porch and the garage. After going on site and speaking with the original applicant, Clay, who you know, he's really representing himself now and now the current owner. They did confirm that they would be okay with having that setback be reduced to only 10 feet for the screen and porch. If you all remember going out and measuring that on site, and it seems like the 10-foot setback would allow them to still be able to construct that screen porch. But they would really like to keep the 5-foot approval for the garage. So here would be that new sample motion to reduce the setback from 20 feet to 5 feet for the purpose of constructing the detached garage, and then reducing a portion of it from 20 feet to 10 feet for the purpose of expanding the single family residence with the screen and porch. And this, the conditions do include that this approval would only be applicable to that detached garage and to that screen porch, and it would not apply to any other portion of the setback. If the board has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them now.
Does the sample motion two, does that restrict the encroachment into the setback, just the area and where the construction is going to occur? It's
Yes.
not the entire length?
No.
Okay.
Only for the garage and only for the screen porch. And that is the condition number 1. The setback variance is limited to the expansion of the single family residence in the detached garage as shown on Exhibit B, and does not authorize any further expansion or construction.
And it's my understanding that if at some point in time this enclosed screen porch, the new owner decides he wants to extend the house over that screen porch, he'll have to come back to the county for approval. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
To you all, to the Board of Variance, if he wanted to construct something else in the setback. Yes.
Okay.
You mentioned the 14-acre lot. What happened to 35-acre requirements?
So the 35-acre requirement is to split a lot by deed. So if they wanted to subdivide their lot into a smaller parcel, it would have to be 2 35-acre portions. But we have tons and tons of lots in the county that are less than 35 acres. If that clarifies. And Kay has got her hand up.
Yeah, lots that are legally created prior to 1972 are allowed to, they're legally non-conforming lots. So, basically everything in Placerville and almost all the lots that are down valley. So this is a legally non-conforming lot.
Is the owner considering subdividing this lot?
I do not believe so. And if he was, he would have to go through a 5-step subdivision process. But I do not believe that that is being complemented, but maybe Herb could speak to that as the applicant's representative.
No, there's no intention at this point to, request a subdivision of the lot. And if so, as was mentioned, it would require, an additional application and a 5-step process. This is simply for the setback variance.
Yeah, we took a site walk last month, and that lot is, it's pretty maxed out in terms of what you can do because of the terrain and there's a lot of loose rock around. I think there's stability problems with portions of that lot, so I don't know that it would be feasible to subdivide it further, but that's down the road. So is there a motion is there any other comments?
I mean, if I could just speak to the motions themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so, you know, as the representative of the new owner did not file the application. However, you know, during the diligence process of reviewing everything in regards to the transaction, one of the things that we reviewed was the site plan that showed, you know, the application with a 5-foot reduction to 5 foot for the setback. And I would just submit that, you know, without knowing exactly how, you know, the screen porch is going to be built, and I would just hate to see us having to come back and file an additional application because we need, let's say, 7 feet rather than the 10 feet. And so, you know, and based on what we had seen during the course of the purchase, I would just submit and request that the sample motion 1 is the one that the board move with, and that the variance is to the 5-foot setback rather than 2 different setbacks along the western portion of that lot. I should say southwestern.
And this is Clay, and I totally support that request. Even though I was there and I thought it might be okay, but I totally agree with her that they probably may need a little more flexibility. So I think it's no big deal to make it back to the 5 versus 10.
It's certainly, when you're looking at the, you know, the requirements under this section of the code, between 5 and 10 feet, it doesn't create any substantial detriment to the public good. You know, that extra 5 feet is not going to change that. And I just think it provides the flexibility in terms of designing that screen porch and actually constructing it.
Are there any comments about that? Well, I guess there are none. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll go ahead and I move to approve the variance reducing the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 5 feet at 30 Stella Drive, Placerville, for the purpose of expanding the existing single-family residence and constructing a detached garage as shown on Exhibit B. Site plan, and to adopt the Board of Adjustment Resolution number 2025-01, based on the finding the applicants have demonstrated an exceptional situation or condition, and that the application meets the criteria of Land Use Code Section 1-1403A3, in particular recognizing the exceptional topographical conditions of the parcel. The board finds that the strict application of the regulation would result in the exceptional and undue hardship upon the owner of such property, and that relief in the form of a variance from zoning may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and substantial impairment of the intent and purpose of zoning, and that the hardship was not created or caused by the owner. Approval is
Sorry.
so This approval is conditioned upon the following. The setback variance is limited to the expansion of the family residence and the detached garage as shown in Exhibit B and does not authorize any further expansion or construction. 2, all required development permits shall be obtained from the San Miguel County by the owner prior to commencing any construction on this parcel. 3, during construction, there shall be no staging or parking adjacent to or on Geyser Drive. 4, this approval shall expire 3 years from the recording date of this resolution. If a building permit is not obtained by that date and said permit does not remain active until issuance of a certificate of occupancy, this variance shall be void. 5, all written representations of the applicant in the original submittal and all supplements, letters, and emails are deemed to be conditions of approval, except to the extent modified by this motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Who said that?
Sunny.
Okay. Are we ready for a vote?
Aye.
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 Great, so moved.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for being here.
I've got nothing else. So Gordon, if you would like to adjourn.
Oh, yes, I move to adjourn this meeting.
All second?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Alrighty. I'm gonna end the meeting. Thanks, Tal. Thanks, Sunny.